Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. In my last videos, I thought about I had even more of the official strategy guides from Bradygames. And today I thought we're gonna go through the one from the expansion Wrath of the Lich King. Here on the front page we can see the Lich King Arthas Menethil. Arthas. The spine says Bradygames, World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, Death Knight Revealed. In my last couple of videos I talked about finding these ones on auctions online, but this one and the last one I'm gonna make for the base game of World of Warcraft, also known as Vanilla, they are really damaged from indoor smoking. So I'm having a hard time having these ones inside for my lungs. So unfortunately I will have to discard them after making the videos, since I can't breathe with them inside. Here on the back side we can see the Lich King awaits. And we're gonna see what it says. Death Knight. Master the Death Knight, the first hero class in World of Warcraft. Learn how to navigate Death Knight's distinctive starting zone and discover how to gain abilities through the Death Knight's exclusive quest chain. We have a little bit what it goes through. New dungeons, arenas, Northrend, class updates, inscription, factions, quest, achievements, and so much more. I think this is gonna be a very nice walkthrough, so you sit back and relax. Thank you. This one doesn't have the price tag still on, but I can assume it's around the same price, around $20 American. World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. Table of contents. Introduction, changes in the game, Death Knight's talents, classes, new zones, Borean Tundra, Crystal Song Forest, Dalaran, Dragonblight, Grizzly Hills, Howling Fjord, Ice Crown, Sholazar Basin, the Storm Peaks, Sultrak. The dungeons, Utgard Keep, the Nexus, Ashol Nerup, Draktharon Keep, PvP, arenas, Word PvP, Wintergrasp, faction, crafting, inscription, quests and achievements. Let's look at this beautiful picture. A cold wind blows. Although the battle for Outland still rages, both the Alliance and Horde have been forced to move their focus back to Azeroth and to look northward to the cold, forbidding content of Northrend, where new threats are emerging. From deep within Icecrown Citadel, the Lich King exerts his icy grip on his minions, readying his forces for an all-out assault. Unable to put aside their long-standing conflict even in the face of this new threat, both the Alliance and Horde are drawing separate battle lines and making preparations to stop the Lich King's forces. No strangers in the ways of the Scrooge. Both sides understand that to fail here is to lose far more than Northrend. World of Warcraft is a living, breathing, ever-changing world, and the newly rediscovered continent of Northrend is no exception. Its challenges and experiences are like nothing you have faced so far. They will put your abilities to the test. Intrepid explorers need every advantage they can get. With this new guide, we have given you a powerful tool to get you started in this harsh but beautiful land. And then it says what's within these pages. You can see the icy cold land and continent of Northrend. Before starting getting deeper into this, I have to make a disclaimer. Maybe you can see my hands are shaking a lot, and it's because of I think, is it called steroids? Steroids, maybe. In my asthma medication, since I had to take a lot before making this video. This book is smelling so much of smoke, and I'm having a hard time breathing. But don't worry, just relax and please don't mind my shaking. Here we're gonna see, we're on the first chapter of changes. We have interface, Northrend, racial abilities, barbershop, PvE, and facing. A new continent. Wrath of the Lich King brings it the entire new continent of Northrend to explore, with new allies, new foes, new dungeons and raids, and much more. With the release of the expansion, your level 70 characters can now start earning experience again. With new quests, new factions, and new PvP areas, there is no shortage of things to do. In addition to the new continent, there are many changes in addition to gameplay. This chapter gives you everything you need to understand these changes so you can get started experiencing the new content right away. Here we have some of the interface and static changes. Player window. Stat changes. As you look over your character screen and items, you most likely notice a few changes. One of the most significant is the introduction of spell power. Before, you had separate plus damage and plus healing amounts listed on gear and items. Now those have been consolidated under one stat, spell power. Pets and mounts got added in this expansion. The tab, do not have it in your bags, I'm talking about. No matter how big your bags are or how many bank spaces you purchase, it seems you can always use more room. A new pet tab has been added to your character info window to help free up some space in your bags. This tab holds both your vanity pets under companions and your mounts. Up here we can see the little bar, how it changed. I quite preferred though having the mounts just in your bag slots. I miss that old feeling of the game. This was a really good change for the future, But I think that is what started this whole thing of too many mounts with just a crazy amount of reskins. Back in the day I was really into mount collecting, but now, what is it, over 700 mounts, and most of them are not my type of preferred gameplay to farm for. And we got the glyphs. Glyphs are an exciting new way to customize your character's skills and talents. Each character now has a glyph tab in their spellbook and abilities window. In it you see 6 circles, 3 large and 3 small. These are spaces in which you can inscribe different class-specific glyphs. I really miss the glyphs, they used to be really fun. Keeping track on time. Time flies when you're having fun, but there are a couple of new ways to keep track of it using the clock and event calendar functions on your minimap. Here we can see the calendar they added. There is a lot going on in World of Warcraft, and the event calendar is designed to help you keep track of it all. Located in the top right hand corner of your minimap, the calendar displays today's date. Click on it to bring up the full calendar. And we got aggro warnings. There are several useful new options. Among them is aggro warning. This allows you to see how close you are to pulling aggro on your target. As you get closer and closer to passing whoever has aggro, your portrait goes from yellow to red. Now we're going into Northrend and racial abilities. It's a changing world. Besides being able to access the new continent of Northrend, there are a few changes to the old world as well. For starters, you can now visit the ruins of the Scarlet Enclave on the eastern edge of Eastern Plaguelands. Arkerus, the Ebon Hold, home to the Death Knights, can be seen floating overhead. While the Ebon Hold is an addition to the old world, there have been a couple of subtractions as well. The city of Dalaran, which once stood on the shore of Laudermere Lake, has been moved to Northrend by the Kirin Tor, leaving a smoking crater behind. The floating necropolis Nakesramas has left the skies above Eastern Plaguelands and moved to Northrend as well. It talks about traveling to Northrend. Getting to Northrend is easy for travelers. There are new Zeppelin towers near both Undercity and Orgrimmar for the Horde. The Undercity Zeppelin offers transport to Vengeance Landing in Howling Fjord, located on the southwestern tip of Northrend. From Orgrimmar you can take the Zeppelin to Warsong Hold in the Borean Tundra. Alliance ships now sail to Northrend from Menethil Harbor in Volgrade in Howling Fjord, and from the newly opened Stormwind Harbor to Alliance Keep in Borean Tundra. Here's talked about Shatran City in Outland and the Kirin Tor City Dalaran, that they host portals. And cold weather flying, how you could buy addition to fly on your flying mounts in Northrend. Racial abilities. Many of the racial traits have been revamped and rebalanced for expansion. Some have been removed, while others have been added. Let's look at the Blood Elves. Arcane Affinity, Arcane Torrent, and Magic Resistance. While the Draenei, Gem Cutting, Gift of the Naru, Heroic Presence, and Shadow Resistance. Oh, here are all the changes. Forever class. Maybe you recognize some. The dwarf. Find treasure, frost resistance, gun specialization, maze specialization, stone form. My favorite class, the gnomes. Arcane resistance, engineering specialization, escape artist, and expansive mind. Human, diplomacy, every man for himself, mace specialization, perception, sword specialization, and the human spirit. I wonder if this is still in game. I don't recognize the human spirit. Night elf, nature resistance, quickness, shadow meld, wisp spirit. Orc has the X specialization, blood fury, command, hardiness. Tauren, cultivation, endurance, nature resistance, and war stomp. Troll, beast slaying, berserking, bow specialization. The voodoo shuffle. This is not in the game anymore, if I'm not wrong. Regeneration. That is a really hard word to say as a Swede. Throwing specialization. And undead, cannibalize, shadow resistance, underwater breathing, will of the forsaken. There's a little window that says priest racial spells. Priests no longer have a distinct spell for each race, so you don't have to choose a particular race to get what you want from the class. Some of these spells have become trainable as priest trainers, while others are now part of the priest's talent tree. Shave and a haircut. Here is where they added the barber shop, so you could change your appearance without starting a new character. Not all of the new features found in this expansion are just about exploring new regions or improving your character. Some, like the barber shop, are just plain fun. If you are in need of a new do, head to one of the barbershops located in all of the major cities. Once there, have a seat in the chair and you are greeted with the 3 options: hairstyle, hair color, and features. The price of the change. Beauty doesn't come cheap, and the price of a new look varies depending on your standing with the city where the barbershop is located. I didn't know that. I've never noticed. And new PV rewards, the emblem of heroism. Here we can see what items you could buy for the emblems of heroism and how much they costed. Here is what you could buy with the emblem of valor. New dungeons, 5-man content, Ankahet, the Old Kingdom, Ashol Nerup, Caverns of Time, The Culling of Stratholm, Draktaron Keep, Gundrak, The Nexus, The Oculus, Ulduar, Halls of Lightning, Ulduar, Halls of Stone, Utgard Keep, Utgard Pinnacle, Violet Hold. And new raids, 10 and 25-man content. Naxxramas, the Nexus, the Eye of Eternity, the Obsidian Sanctum, and the Vault of Archavon. Here is the second chapter about the Death Knights, the new hero class. And the first hero class to be added to the game. Death Knight. Death Knights are the first hero class ever available in World of Warcraft, and as such are pretty special. These elite warriors were played, making them tough on the battlefield. They can wield either two-handed weapons or can dual-wield one-handed weapons to great effect. This class is great for souling and more than capable of filing either a tank or DPS slot in almost any group or raid. In addition to their martial prowess, Death Knights wield the power of runes to utilize class-specific melee abilities and spells, making them unlike any of the previous existing classes. There it talks about the runes. 3 runes create a unique resource management system very different from energy, rage or mana. But with a little practice, it is easy to use. That's an understatement. Death Knights were really overpowered and not that hard to play. And there's their starting zone, the Scarlet Enclave, next to the Eastern Plaguelands. And there's the Scarlet Enclave legend, and we have all the different little hubs. Creating a Death Knight. To create a Death Knight, you must already have a character of level 55 or greater on your account. One of your existing characters does not become a Death Knight. It is a completely new and separate character. Quests. The Death Knight's question detailed below takes you from your starting level of 55 through at least level 58 and prepares you for playing your Death Knight in the wider world. You spend these few levels playing through a story arc that gives you the opportunity to learn about your character and get practical experience using your Death Knight's unique abilities in a variety of situations. In service of the Lich King. Anger, cruelty, vengeance. The Lich King has gifted you all these things as one of his chosen. Seek out instructor Rasuvius within Aegros, the Ebonhold, to begin your journey. Then it goes on with all of the quests in the zone and how to play through the Death Knight starting zone. The quest where you had to kill off the Scarlet NPCs were really great. I think this is one of the greatest starting zones story-wise ever in a game. Sort of homecoming. Here you got to execute one of your friends that were not a Death Knight. And an end to all things. When you return to Death's Breach, you find a landscape much changing once again. The Scrooge has pushed the assault into New Avalon, and the Lich King orders you to help finish off the desperate Scarlet forces. Then you have to use the Frostworm. The Light of Dawn. This is such a good quest. Here we can see Arthas. Forces of the Scrooge are gathering at Broman Hill for an all-out assault against Light's Hope Chapel. Once you arrive, notice the timer in the upper right portion of your screen. This lets you know if the event has already started. If it hasn't, speak to High Lord Darion Mograine to begin the event. He calls upon the Scrooge armies to rise up and prepare for battle. Once the armies have assembled, follow High Lord Darion Mograine into battle. Be sure to stay with the Scrooge forces. If you engage in the forces of the light, without them you are killed rather quickly. Join your fellow Death Knights in battling the defenders. Stick close to the other Scrooge fighters and wear down your opponents. This is a massive battle, and though your numbers are far greater, your foes stand upon holy ground and won't give away easily. Once many of the defenders of the light have been defeated, High Lord Tyrion Fordring arrives, putting a stop to the battle. Once this happens, you need to only wait and watch events unfold. When it is all over, you are able to complete your quest. Fordring speaks with the High Lord Darion Mograine, revealing much about his past, but the Lich King soon arrives to take matters into his own hands. The Lich King launches an attack against Fordring, and only aid from an unexpected source stop him from killing Fordring and turns the tide of the battle. With Ashbringer in hand, High Lord Tyrion Fordring stands against the Lich King, forcing him into retreat. Though you will never again be what you once were in life, having thrown off the yoke of your master, you and your fellow Death Knights now have a new purpose: the eradication of the Scrooge and the destruction of the Lich King. And there it continues with the quest of taking back Argyros and the battle for Ebonhold. So you reclaim the building, the floating building, and then either if you choose a Horde or an Alliance character, you get the Warchief's Blessing or Where Kings Walk in Ogrimmar or Stormwind. Here we can see our old Warchief Thrall, the best one we ever had. And here's the King of Stormwind, Varian Rin. Abilities. Here are all of the abilities of the Death Knights. The Death Knights have some very unique abilities, though they are very definitely a melee class. Their manipulation of runes grants them devastating strikes, virulent diseases, and a host of other abilities designed to make them formidable opponents. God, it's really hard. It's such a small text, and it's really hard words I'm not used to saying a lot. I'm just laughing it off. For blood, the blood spec, we have Blood Boil, Blood Presence, Blood Strike, Blood Tap, Dark Command, Death Pact, Forceful Deflection, Pestilence, Strangulate. Frost, we have Chains of Ice, Empower Rune Weapon, Frost Fever, Frost Present, Horn of Winter, Icebound Fortitude, Icy Touch, Mind Freeze, Obliterate, Path of Frost, Rune Strike, Runic Focus. And Unholy, Anti-Magic Shell, Army of the Dead, Blood Plague. Death and Decay, Death Coil, Death Gate, Grip, Death Strike, Plague Strike, Raise Dead, and Unholy Presence. And these are the different trees, as I just mentioned: Blood, Frost, Unholy. That were the different starting maybe attacks and abilities, and here are the talents. As with your abilities, the Death Knight's talents are divided up between three trees: Blood, Frost, and Unholy. For Blood is Butchery, Subversion, Blade Barrier. Bladed Armor, Scent of Blood, Two-Handed Weapon Specialization, Rune Tap, Dark Conviction, Death Rune Mastery, Improved Rune Tap, Spell Deflection, Vendetta, Bloody Strikes, Veteran of the Third War, Mark of Blood, Bloody Vengeance, Abomination's Might, Bloodworms, Hysteria, Blood Aura, Sudden Doom, Vampiric Blood, Will of the Necropolis, Heart Strike, Might of Mograine, Blood Gorge, Dancing Rune Weapon. They got a lot. And Frost. Improved Icy Touch, Glacier Rot, Toughness, Icy Reach, Black Ice, Nerves of Cold Steel. Icy Talons, Lichborn, Annihilation, Runic Power Mastery, Killing Machine, Frigid Dreadblade, Chill of the Grave, Death Chill, Improved Icy Talons, Merciless Combat, Rhyme, Endless Winter, Howling Blast, Frost Aura, Chillblains, Blood of the North, Unbreakable Armor, Acclamation, Frost Strike, Gale of Gorefiend, Tundra Stalker, Hungering Cold. And the Unholy, Vicious Strikes, Morbidity, Amputation, Epidemic, Virulence, Unholy Command, Ravenous Dead, Outbreak, Necrosis, Corpse Explosion. On a Pale Horse, Blood-Caked Blade, Shadow of Death, Summon Gargoyle, Impurity, Dirge, Magic Suppression, Reaping, Master of Ghouls, Desecration, Anti-Magic Zone, Unholy Aura, Night of the Dead, Crypt Fever, Bone Shield, Wandering Plague, Ebon Plaguebringer, Scrooge Strike, Rage of Rivendare, Unholy Blight. I am cutting off the content now. This is a voiceover I made later in the evening. Since the scent of the indoor smoking was so bad from this book, I actually got a asthma attack from trying to make this video for too long. I will continue doing rest of the book in another part, and I hope you enjoy this one. Next time, as you will see, we're going through the changes to every class in game. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye bye bye.